All right, Joanna, now we're looking at your front view from underwater, and as we can get started, you can see right here what I was kind of talking about before. Your hand is a nice elbow bend, high elbow, but the hand's a little bit outside the body line. We'd like to see you be a little straighter when the arm enters and then come a little more right underneath the body with that elbow. And again, I think it's just kind of set up by your hand entry and dropping the elbow. But other than that, you're pulling good water as you come through. But you can see right here, the hand is in front of the shoulder right now, and this is exactly where we want to be. So it came in pretty much right on line with where we want to be. But because that hand is turned a little bit sideways, as you go to pull, the arm is then a little outside that line that we're talking about. We want to be a little bit here, a bend, and then there. And you can just see your arm, if we let it go forward a little bit, is outside of that until it gets to here, then it's right in line. So you're pulling a little bit of water outside the body, and that is not as strong as if you're more aligned with the shoulder, so you can get a little more catch. Like you're right here, you're perfect. But again, and you can just see this is really nice through your pull, this elbow bend and then this hand here. You're just underneath the body, really pulling water in a good position for your shoulder to catch water. And if we can just keep that elbow up, because your elbow wants to enter at the same time as the hand, and that causes that hand to be a little turned. And then you can just see the hand slides outward before the high elbow catch. And that right there is you're catching water, but it's not as efficient or as strong an area to catch water from as you're pulling water. You can just see how wide it gets away from the body. And if we could be a little bit closer to the body line with this part of the pull as you are back here, you're still a little wider on the right than the left side. On your left side, you could see how, as you were at this position, it was a little bit more underneath the body line. You see how you're just a little more outside of that. Again, it's just a position of strength and leverage. So if you're a little more under the body line, you're creating a little more power, and all your energy is kind of pushing you forward in a great straight line. And you can just see how wide that is on that turn of the breath. And if we can just get that in line a little bit more, but you can see how your left hand then aggressively moves to get underneath the body and probably what would be almost what we'd consider your perfect position. You're finishing by the hips, but you hold on to great water. You can see how the bubbles clear off your arm, and then you catch the water, and just here, this is what you want. You want to be bent like that, pressing and pulling yourself forward. We just need, at the entry point, it to be straighter in front of the body. It should be here, and you can just see how you're here on both sides of the body when you're doing that. And you'll get there, like here, you're back underneath the body, so it's just a little bit of a late rotation, but for me, it's dropping that elbow a little too early, and that pushes your hand out wide. So by that, we'll see on the above view, but you can see how your hand is coming in and your elbow is coming in the water at the same time. And then that pushes your hand out wide instead of pushing that hand straight forward. Breath is low. You can see it's with one goggle. Catch right here is pretty good. Again, pulling good water, setting up a good catch, good paddle from your forearm through your hand. Fingers could be maybe a little more separated. They're pretty tight. And we could flare that hand out just a little bit so the pinky's there and the index finger's there, and the thumb might be just a little bit outline that, and you can just have a little bit wider paddle. But you are pulling good water there, and great catch. Again, into the turn. Again, you can just see how your push off on the turn, and I talked about it in the underwater view, is fairly shallow. In races, there's quite a bit of disturbed water that's near the surface, so you want to get a little deeper. That'll help that kick out a little bit more. And then here you can just see, you get the view through the bubbles of the feet crossing over. And again, just a little too wide on the kick, which creates this, kind of crossover version of your kick. And you know, if we can keep that kick a little smaller, keep the feet rotating with the hips, that'll take away from that crossover kick.